as Ghanaians. That's what we're trying to establish. And if indeed we believe that these culture or these traditions and customs are good, how do we modify, how do we reconcile, how do we bring it into, how do we make sure that it is consistent with the 1992 Constitution? That's what we intend to look at this afternoon on Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Al Dumoro. When I come back, I'll be introducing my resource persons.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fat missy way.
The patch of bantama.
Machasi.
That's a cycle.
It's her smile, the fresh breath.
Me, Jidi said we used to Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind.
Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim jom kasa. Ile kosing. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will so feeling to when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Give me the keys to your hood. Give me the keys to your gates. Now, back in the days, people used to brag about their hoods, as in the flashiest cars, the hood that has the best of hottest girls, the hood that has the best of guys with the swag. Now, fast forward, we're in the 21st century. I still want to know what's popping in your hood. So here's the case where I walk in your hood majestically for you to tell me what actually makes your hood number one and the most unique. Welcome to Hood. My name is Miguel. You can call me the Abontin Prefect.
All right, welcome back. This is Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Aldo Moro. So this afternoon we are delving into that raging controversy which has engulfed almost the entire country. In fact, it's even gone international. The BBC has report on it. It's about that surprising turn of event where a 12-year-old, now 16-year-old, in fact it was 12 at some point, 13, now 16-year-old, is been married off to a Egbobu Wolomo. A very powerful priest within the Nungwa traditional area, in fact, within the Gandagwe traditional area or enclave. And that has sparked all kinds of outrage. People saying that this practice is an affront to the 1992 Constitution, and so we must do away with it. There are also some who are saying that no, these are customs, these are traditions, these are things that have been with us for more than 800 years. Nobody has a problem with it, and so we must maintain it. Even means we need to just modify it a little bit. So that is where we are. Now, we have had NGOs who have written copious. We have EduWatch, we've had Girls Not Brides Ghana, we've had the NCCE, of course that's a statutory body. We've had all kinds of people writing and actually stating their position on it. Some of them are actually asking that their marriage should be dissolved because it is not right. And that the laws of the country are quite clear on this matter. Now, we have found out that this matter is actually is more widespread than we think. It's almost everywhere in this country. And so the bigger question is that how do we harmonize these customary laws in ways that can conform to the principle of human rights and gender equality? That is the subject of the conversation. So we're not going to dwell so much on what has happened. Of course, we'll talk about it, but it's a bigger conversation which we need to have. And that's what Good Afternoon Ghana will be focusing on. Now, this afternoon, I have some gentlemen here. I've got a couple of, of course, some gentlemen who do justice to this topic. One is a politician, but he's not here as a politician. He's here as a Ga, a proud one as such, and knows, in fact, he's a Gadangbi, exactly, and he knows about the history, the culture, the customs of the people, and he's here to educate us. You can form your own opinion and your own judgment, but that's why he's here. He's not going to say it's right or wrong, but he'll tell you what it is and as it is. And then there's another gentleman here who is also joining. In fact, he works within the NGO space. He's called Joseph Wemakor. I hope I got the pronunciation of the name correctly. Yes, Joseph Wemakor. Now, Joseph Wemakor is the HRRG CEO. He will explain what that means. And also the winner of the 5th UN Global Entrepreneurship Awards for 2023. He is also here. But before that, let me say a very good afternoon to the Honourable Member of Parliament for Ododo Diojo, who is a Gadangba. I said, in fact, this afternoon, I said, he's not here as a politician. He's here as a member, a proud Gadangbi. Good afternoon, boss. It's good to see you. How are you, boss?
I'm blessed.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. And it's always a pleasure having you here.
I'm doing fine.
And that's Wemakor. And also, Brighter Pia is the Executive Director of Child Rights International. He'll also be joining us on the show at some point to express his thoughts on the matter. And also, Daniel Osei Tufuo is the Executive Chairperson of the Young African Women Congress Network. He'll also be joining the show at some point. So for now, we have the two gentlemen here who will help us navigate what appears to be a very controversial matter which has dominated the headlines, in fact, since weekend. Honorable, I'll start with you because you understand the culture, the customs, and the traditions of people much better. Have you been surprised by the kind of reaction which has greeted what was supposed to be a quiet, you can call it a customary marriage or a spiritual, activity, which has now turned out to be as we speak?
First, let me thank you for the opportunity to be on the program and also give my perspectives about what has been with us and our tradition for a long time. Let's all know that evolution of man also created the sort of living, behavior, customs, traditions of those people. And nobody can dispute the fact that as we evolve, our cultural practices, customs, and traditions sometimes get diluted from education, civilization, and also interface with other cultures and traditions.
What you term as westernization?
I would not even go to westernization. So, for example, let's say the Ghanaians migrated from Israel, went through different settlements. Yes. Throughout to the Mesopotamia, through to Mauritania, Togo, northern Nigeria, Togo, Benin, before. So, in the transition, for everywhere that they settled for some time, they picked something from them. When we settled here, we were not used to chieftaincy. So, our then leaders were our traditional priests, and then the Asafo chairman. When we settled here, along the line, interfacing with the Ashantis, the Akwamus, the Dangerous, the Fantis, and the rest, we saw the proficiency of chieftaincy. So the Gans developed chieftaincy. So really, if you look at our chieftaincy culture, and you see things like our linguists speaking, you see things like our libation pouring and appellations and things, you see some flexes of Akan. culture in us. If you listen to some of our Asafo songs, you basically will think that is it not Akans who are performing, but we are Gans. If you go a little bit deeper to some of our clans and towards the Dangme area, their culture is a bit more synonymous with the culture of the Voltarians because of the settlement and all those things. So you will say that we have a very diverse but then unique culture. That's why our festival, the Asafotu, be it the Plejo, be it the Homowo, look different from all other Ghanaian cultures. Sometimes if you don't really take your time to study our customs, our cultural practices, and our traditions, you may end up generalizing us, you may end up making a mistake of thinking that we should, or we are not conforming to certain things. But those cultures are unique to us. We have our own way of naming ceremony. We have our own way of funerals. We have our own way of even say dancing. If you go straight into our tradition, our culture, our system of marriage is even different from the way other Ghanaian tribes and clans do theirs. Right. So, let me say this. What has occasioned this is because of lack of understanding of the many people who are giving interpretation to what happened. Right. Secondly, I think our people also did not really handle the communication aspect well. Right. What happened is something that has happened over a period, years, centuries. Let me also say that it's still happening all over the country. Not only, it's not unique to the Ghana database. Right. If you go to the Volta region, it's there. If you go to the northern region, it's there. If you go to the Ashanti region, it's there. Central region, everywhere. But it's also even biblical. If you go into the Bible, Samuel was given to God to serve God. He says he was set apart to serve God at a very young age. Samson was the same. He was set apart to serve God at a very young age, that they even said, no Caesar shall touch his hair. No razor shall touch his hair. That's true. So these are some of the things that we say. Even today, as we have it today, there are young boys at the age of 6, 7, 8 who are dedicated to the service of the Lord in our churches. You understand? So they serve in the church, especially in the Anglican church, in the Wemakor church, and they serve in the church, they work in the church and grow to the church. In our traditional areas, there are also people, both sexes, male and female, boys and girls, who right from their infancy become set apart to serve the gods and the spirits. Because
how are those people chosen?
It's divination.
It's divination.
Yes, it is. It's not. It's not. Sometimes
it's in the spiritual realm.
Yes. No. Sometimes certain families have been set apart as the same way people come from families that inherit particular stool. Right. Some families also have a particular, let me say, those families have been set apart to serve and to inherit the position of a traditional priest. Right. Some also are due to certain things that the family, for example, we have families who are having problem with childbirth. Yeah. They're looking for children, they can't get them. Those children could go to the shrine and pray and ask for children. And the shrine could say that, yes, we'll give you a child, but when the child has been given to you, at this age, you will give the child back to serve. So those things happen. I'm a Christian. And I have no doubt about the fact that I'm a Christian. I know I'm a Christian. But I'm also a Ghanaian. and I value our culture and tradition. To the extent that I think that unless you want us as a people to become distinct, extinct, then you will tell us to bury our culture and tradition. Because it is our culture and tradition that identify us as Gandangwis. And so anyone who engages in our tradition, our culture, I don't care the level of your education, I don't care your Christian or religious belief. I have Christians, I have Muslims who are also avowed Gandangwis and practice our tradition.
Right.
Our festivals are our sort of things we do in our houses, our traditional houses, and our, homes. Do not make us, deviants from our religious beliefs. A lot of these, our traditional priests, you see them, are also Christians or Muslims.
Right.
Today, up to today, I have many of the traditional priests in my constituency who are Muslims or Christians. And they serve the God, they do but they also do and practice their tradition and culture. And so you need to understand the perspectives before you go in. With this particular case, let me say, people who went there to cover the program, you understand, most of them bloggers and some journalists, only took into consideration what they heard the master of ceremonies, who sometimes embellish these things, what they said.
Yes.
But they did not go back to find out the real, what is this whole ceremony about. Because the whole ceremony was about something. It's not just fanfare. Yes, these things happen all the time, but in this particular case, it was elevated to a particular level that seemed like, wow, what is happening?
Are you suggesting, I'm not even saying you're suggesting, but clearly what you're saying is that the MC of the occasion has actually contributed.
Have you been to any of these
No, I haven't.
our marriage ceremony before?
No, I haven't.
The MCs do wonderful things. They embellish things, they say certain things.
But they become the star of the event.
Yeah, sometimes they mix things with some choral music, some hymns, and they do all those things.
Right.
They do interpretation of the things they are saying, sometimes in their own, just to create fun and make the whole thing merry.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So sometimes, as a journalist, as somebody who is so much interested in the culture of the people, go behind what the MC is saying and find out from the people what they're doing. You understand? It was real tradition at play.
Yes, because that's a very important point. Because I saw a certain disconnect between what the MC was saying as against what we're being told.
Because sometimes you understand Ghana.
Yes, I understand Ghana. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
New York guy. Well, so I'm like, if the MC is saying, go and satisfy your husband, both this and that, we're giving you these gifts to go and do this, and I mean, she basically sexualized the lady. The girl.
Yeah.
And so it created a totally different impression from what we're being told.
Let me say this.
Now, if this is customary, why all these?
You see,
why all
the
these
first
commentaries?
point has to be made.
Okay.
The girl at that time was not being married by the Babu Wulomo.
She was married to who?
She was being married to the shrine, Babu.
Or the deity?
Yeah, deity.
Or the stool?
The deity or the stool.
Okay.
You understand?
Right.
Even in our chieftaincy, there are women who sometimes are married to the stool. They are called Senheyo.
Oh.
Is there?
I get it.
You understand?
So
their duty and responsibility only to serve the stool. So if they are performing any domestic duty like cooking for the chief and all those things, it is their service to the stool,
right,
and not as a marital bondage.
I see.
You understand? With the occupant of the stool.
Yes.
So there may not even be a relationship.
So today, if honorable, so let me call it Ni. So Ni, if today you were made the Babu Wulomo,
yes,
you will inherit this process.
Yes. Automatic. Yes.
Because what is constant is the deity.
Yes.
The variable is the person who is there.
Yes. So the interpretation did not go well. The girl was not being married
to the man.
The Bobuburomo, known in life in person as Stephen Akwete.
So why was, because the MC, I suppose, was Gantu. No, I'm saying this for a purpose because I'm not saying, because I'm not going to assume the fact she's speaking Gami, she's a Ga, she's an indigenous, she's a Gadangbe. She's a Gadangbe too.
Yes.
Now, when you listen to the kinds of things she was saying, it is in total.
Because he's doing the thing to add color to it, to make it seem as if
it's a normal marriage that we perform.
Because they are used to doing those things all the time.
I get it.
And you see, they also at that time were personifying the deity in the Wulomo.
Oh, right.
You understand?
Right.
Just as when you come to Christian belief, we said the Lord descended into humanity. The Lord became a man.
Okay.
And so that is what they were doing at that particular time.
Okay.
So you see, and then two, there is a historical antecedent to this. Okay. I don't know, but more if you permit me,
can do this briefly,
I
want to bring it.
Yeah, I will show you. I will show you something.
His colleague.
I will show you something.
All right.
Just this is a picture of the girl at age 6.
Oh, at age 6.
Yes.
So I want to show it to. I don't know that the camera can capture this.
So this rite was performed for her at age 6. The first time she went through the rite.
But this is the same picture. Was it the same picture we saw? No, this is not the same picture. No. So she was actually married off spiritually at age 6.
At age 6.
So if the camera can capture it, that would really be great. So here we go. Okay. Well, once the camera guys are ready to capture this, Nora will show it to you. But this was when she was married at age 6.
Yes, age 6.
I see.
And there is a bit of a history to it. I want my brothers to have a look at it.
So it's actually the confirmation or the official ceremony.
It's a process.
For outdoor hair.
It's a process.
It's a process.
Yes.
Okay.
From one stage to the other, and then finally you become this thing. But then this I can tell you from this age, none of her liberties have been truncated or stalled.
She's still living a normal life.
Normal life.
Going to school.
Going to school, everything. In fact, she was even living with her current member of parliament.
Oh.
Yes. She was set apart differently. So they wanted her to get all the best people within society to serve her. You understand? So the member of parliament she was giving the member to give her all the best of education, of everything. In fact, so when it got to this level and she was called to move into the second phase of the tradition, the member of parliament herself felt bad because she was going to lose somebody she has taken to be her daughter and all those things. But what she got to do? She knew of this. That was her contribution also to the development of our culture and tradition at the time.
I'll come back to you, Honorable. I think this background information is crucial. It's extremely important. But be that as it may, I hope you are also mindful. I mean, you are also a lawmaker. You also be mindful of this beautiful story, this beautiful culture. It's something that the laws of this country frown upon.
No.
I'll tell you why.
The laws don't frown upon our culture.
No, I'm talking about this culture of marrying off a minor, even if it's spiritually, to a deity. That's what I'm saying.
What the law says. I'll be happy to say what the law says.
Yes, in fact, it's actually.
I'm not a lawyer, but at least
it's
I've read some law.
It's actually the Children's Act, where it clearly states where it clearly states that you shall not marry off a minor
or betrothed.
Either betrothed or marriage, or the subject of a dowry transaction.
By what? By force.
By force.
By force.
Okay, so that's what.
By force.
I'll come back to you on that. And it's a very interesting. But that's the next leg of the discussion we intend to have. But let me bring in what's the name of this gentleman again? Joseph Wemakor. Joseph, what do you make of this? I mean, I'm sure. First of all, when did you hear about this development or this incident or this event? What was your immediate reaction, and what perspective do you want to share as far as this matter is concerned?
So, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'd like to also extend the same thank you to our viewers out there. That was on Saturday when the
social media was buzzing.
Yes. With videos, you watch the video. So it was on our platforms.
Before I read the caption, I thought it was
so it was on our platforms. And, you know, our people were, you know, asking questions. What is this and all that? So we saw that and we're like, wow, because like the Honorable rightly said, the kind of interpretation that follows the video, yeah. And quite interesting if you listen to the MC, how she was using her words, embellishing. And that tells you that this is one ceremonial event purposely meant for marriage. And the age in question is also very wonderful.
Right.
12-year-old.
Yeah.
So the signal
now
that is being...
Oh, at the time.
At the time, we were told that it's 12-year-old.
Okay.
And I think you see a picture that's which you have just presented on the screen, projected on the screen as well. So you see the big man, 63-year-old, and a 12-year-old girl. The picture alone will move you to action. Yeah. So we were moved.
Does she look 12?
Well, she doesn't look 12, to be honest. So I don't know where the 12 came from, but I'm sure the journalists who were at the event were told she was 12. Somebody might have told them she was 12.
She's not 12.
Yeah, she doesn't look 12. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, so upon hearing this and listening, watching this clip and listening to the MC, tells you that no, there's something wrong. Is this happening in Ghana? Because this thing has moved beyond the boundaries of Ghana, as you have rightly stated in your intro. So we felt that, as activists, we need to take action. So we were actually, how do I put it, concerned. We were outraged, and we felt, no, if this is true, then we need to also send some signal out there, condemn, and also call the authorities to action, to move swiftly, and ensure that, one, they annul the marriage.
Right.
Two, they probe swiftly and find out if this is true. And if it is true, those who are involved, you know, should be held culpable. So based on that, we have also come out with a release that was published yesterday, and it's circulated widely, just to add our voice to the uproar, the public outcry that has been, you know, moving on. Yeah. So basically,
basically, you were also outraged.
Yeah.
You were not happy with what you saw.
I wasn't happy, but based upon the narration that Honorable has just given. From the perspective or the angle of tradition, you know, culture. I mean, somebody like me who is an activist, I won't just listen to this and believe. In the first place, what was the ceremony for? Even the picture that we have watched, that the rite has been performed at the age of 8 years or 7 year old.
No, 6 years.
6 year old.
It was performed when she was 6.
Okay, at 6.
Yeah.
So we should also know about this ritual. I think something ought to be written about her, that, this is so and so and so, they have done this. Forward that, then the next initiation which they are doing, or maybe something to suggest that, they have done this for her, this is who she is. Because according to the press conference that they had yesterday, we heard the administrator from the Bobu Lomo's administration.
He's actually issued a whole statement. I actually have a copy here.
Stating that, it is more of somebody that the deity married, the deity possessed, and she has a special role to play. So such a person should even have a profile to say this and that. So moving forward, if they are doing another ritual at the age of 16 or whatever, 12 or 16, that will also be in the news, so that, prior to that, we can read about what happened in the past and what is going on now. That way it is easier. Even people reporting will watch out and say, no, maybe we are not doing the right report, or we are blowing things out of proportion. Based on that, they can also use this to make a case. But nothing like that has happened. We could argue out and say that maybe because they want to come into defense in the face of criticism and dissolution, they are coming out to defend. Therefore, they are creating some stories which doesn't add up.
All right.
So I would like to, I'm even fascinated about this kind of ceremony that was taking place at that time. How would you call it? What kind of rite was they performing? Because based on what we saw, it was clear that this is a marriage ceremony between an elderly person and a minor. unless we can have the name of the ritual that is being performed, the one that was performed at the age of 6, the recent one that blew, that became a big news.
And that was any rights at the time when she was 6.
So you see, the issue is, I agree with him perfectly.
Yes.
All of us in this country, we failed to document and to write
our tradition,
our culture and traditional practices. Right. We haven't.
That's true.
So there's no literature. Yes, there's no literature for people to read and know. It's just been handed over to us by orally by our fathers. Sitting here, all that I've learned about the Gandangwe people is something I was told by my grandfathers, grandmother, because I used to sit at their feet and learn.
And the challenge with that is that it gets diluted. The more it becomes oral.
Yes, and that is even why our culture and tradition as a people, Ghanaian culture and tradition, is being affected by Western culture.
That's true.
Because our children coming up do not have anything to read about their fathers, their grandfathers, where they come from, in order to be able to situate themselves well within the cultural competition they find themselves.
Let me go to Daniel. Daniel is the executive chairperson of the Young African Women Congress of Network. First of all, what's this NGO? Just briefly, who are you before, so that people know where you're coming from with your submission on the matter? I should have probably done the same with my other colleague. Be doing that. Sorry, what's your NGO again?
So the Human Rights Reporters Ghana, HRRG for short.
Okay.
So it's an initiative of young Ghanaian journalists, editors, lawyers, and human rights activists who have come together to help address issues of human rights violations, to bring the country closer to achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the Agenda 2063, the Africa that we want. So basically, we focus on critical human rights issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So that means that for you, you are not coming across this for the first time. You've heard about some of these practices for a long time in your job and in your career.
No. Okay, I've learnt about the unfortunate one, Trokosi.
Trokosi,
yes.
But not this one.
Yes, but I try to draw some similarities between this and Trokosi, and I can see where the thing is going.
Okay.
And I'll be touching on that.
Okay.
Because with the Trokosi one, virgins are used to compensate for the sins or the crimes committed by their families. So they are meant to do hard works, and they are also used as sexual tools for the priests.
I see.
They have sexual.
It's happening today in Ghana.
Yes, over this stretches for centuries, over 300 years. Wow. Now, efforts to put a stop to this, it's always not working, because it is still neck deep. People are still doing this today.
Okay.
It's a religion, a kind of religion.
It's a culture.
Well, I get it. That's what you emphasize.
Yes, it's not.
That it's not the kind of thing that you can easily deal or fight, because that's their culture. That's how they live. But then we'll come back to whether it conforms with the constitution. That's where I will come in when after Daniel. Daniel. So where do you stand on this? I mean, again, I've asked the same question I asked your other colleague talking about Joseph. When did you hear about this matter? How was your immediate reaction? And what's your stand on this? But before then, tell me a bit about your NGO.
Right, so the Young African Women Congress Network is a fraternity of women from the continent, as in women of African descent, living on the continent and the diaspora.
Okay.
Our main focus is to empower women, and we are segmented by chapters based on country demarcation. So presently we have 8 chapters across the continent of Africa. We have one at the headquarters, which is Accra. So we have the Ghana chapter, we have Nigeria, we have Sierra Leone, we have Liberia, Cameroon, Uganda, Ethiopia, and Kenya. So basically, as part of our activities, we advocate for women and young girls. We have been around for the past 8 years. We've been doing this work. Recently, we just, I think about 10 days ago, we ended a 20-day campaign against female genital mutilation, which the practitioners of that also, alluded to culture.
Okay.
Yeah, so for us, we heard about this on Saturday. We saw the snippet of it in the social media, and the commentaries that were coming out of it. So usually when we hear of some of these stories, we don't just jump into it, especially when it has got to do with there is a culture, antidote to it. We try to do some assessment and some background works. Then we do some juxtaposition between that with the Constitution and what the various acts, that protect these girls say. So we did some little assessment of the whole thing, and of course, after this whole issue came up, there have been a series of I won't call it rebuttal, but more or less an attempt to explain what actually transpired by the various units of the Ghana community. We've seen releases from
the Gadangbe Council,
by
Honorable
to the Gadangbe lawyers,
and so on.
They actually condemned.
Yeah, they condemned. But the council attempted to defend it.
No, the council, in a way,
yes, was trying to clarify.
But they also tried to, speak in line with the law.
And one of the things they said was it's actually a betrothal marriage.
Exactly. Yeah. And even with that, there's a problem. You just read the act.
Yeah, but the honorable just draw my attention to something having seen
the force. Now, I am not a lawyer, and I will not try to be one.
Yes.
But my understanding of the law when it comes to sexuality is that before a child is 16 years, he cannot engage in anything sexual.
That's true.
When you do that, even with the consent of the girl, it's termed as defilement.
Right.
So, in that regard, that it is perceived or what the understanding or the layman's explanation of that, it means that that girl at that stage, even if she gives her consent, it cannot be considered.
I agree.
You understand?
Her consent is immaterial.
It's immaterial.
Yes.
So what I'm getting is that because the girl does not have the right to make a decision at that time.
Yes.
Any act that happens is forcing.
Yes, that's true.
That is my fundamental understanding of that clause in the law.
That's your interpretation.
Exactly. Because she hasn't got the power to say, I want to be part, I want to be betrothed or whatever.
Right.
Now, with this thing about betrothal and all that.
But are you saying that based on the fact that you assume that the age that came out at 12 was right?
Well, for us,
honorable, 16, she's still a minor.
No, even with that, no, let me come 16? In. No, she's not a minor, but they said she's going to be 16 in July. Yesterday, the chieftaincy minister spoke on joy.
They've gone to check.
No, honorable, let me.
The birth certificate and
she's 16.
No, honorable.
Should we say?
No, according to the chieftaincy minister, except so she's still not 16. The law is very explicit.
So she's still a minor.
She's a minor.
Until she's 16.
Exactly. And as a minor, she does not have the right to consent to betrothal. You get the point?
I understand.
So
I am a cultural person. I believe that
who gives consent?
Honorable, let me.
The law.
What
you understand the law. So until the girl if this girl was 16 or 17 or 18, we will just be okay with this. Yes. One of those kind of stuff. We'll just
I'll come to. I beg you. I'll come to.
Let me.
But he's making some very interesting points. Yes. That his interpretation of the caveat, which is by force or forcefully, his interpretation of it is that until somebody is 18, right?
But sexual is 16.
Yes, sexual is 18. Good.
Yes.
Now, until somebody is 16. Now, here, in this case, we're talking marriage. So
marriage, so 18.
Right.
Yeah.
Until the person is 18 years, every decision you take every decision you take which affects the child will be deemed to be done forcefully.
Exactly.
Because she is not mature, quote and unquote, enough to take her own decision. So that's where he's coming from. So when I come back to you, you can explain that part. So please go ahead.
Yeah. So with regards to what's the stance now?
Yes.
And I'll be very
so
frank.
I said that it can be deemed to have been done to her forcefully.
That is
or by force.
Exactly.
And I mean, you said that you're saying that anybody who argues in that way would not be wrong.
Exactly.
That's the point. Okay, please.
Exactly. Now, I am a culture person. I believe that our progressive culture.
Right. Where do you come from?
I'm from the Ashanti side.
Okay, yeah, you're Ashanti.
Yes. Okay. So I am people who know me.
Okay.
But the same vein.
Okay.
Outmoded cultural practices.
Yes.
Cultures that kind of trample upon the right of girls and women I think our traditional rulers, our chiefs,
let's take a second
we should take a second look. When we did the FGM, we had people confronting us.
What's FGM?
Female genital mutilation, their clitoris, the clitoris of girls.
Yes.
It's culture. It's this. It keeps the woman pure.
It's dehumanizing them.
It's dehumanizing. That is what the Children's Act is saying.
We cannot continue to how do you call it? Toy with their rights under the guise of tradition, customs, and religion. That's the point you're making.
Yes,
okay.
And you see, more so, those of us who are privileged to have had some form of enlightenment.
Okay.
I mean, especially those who have exposed. We all have archaic people in our families, like our grandmothers who are not archaic in quotes. Let me put it like that. Who
are old-fashioned.
As old-fashioned. Let me use the word. Old-fashioned. I mean, people who are not the modern.
Okay, so what? So traditional in their thinking.
Traditional in their thinking.
I take a second.
I understand. I get it. I totally agree. I mean, for instance, honorable. You can never call someone like honorable as an old-fashioned.
No.
An old-fashioned person.
He's not.
He's very traditional but very modern.
That is the point. Yeah. So the point.
I showed some of his videos when he was dancing to some gospel and some hip hop tunes. You'll be amazed.
He's an amazing man.
No, this man, don't mess with this man.
Exactly.
Anyway, so you're right. I'm wrong.
Yes.
It's not the fact that your tradition doesn't make you old-fashioned.
So the point I'm trying to make is that those of us who get some form of modernization and enlightenment, and the basis, for instance, the fact that we want FGM to be stopped, we know that there has series of implications, health implications and others.
Yes.
We are exposed to it because of our ability or the opportunities that we have gotten to go through education. Mm-hmm. It is, the onus lies on us to sit down with our grandfathers, our mothers, to explain things to them, to get to a certain point. You understand? So we shouldn't also, try to jump in the same line with them to also defend it. It is culture, it is this and that and that. When we know very well that these things dehumanizes them. These things, this thing that has just gone on, it has a psychological effect.
Yeah.
I wish maybe we had a psychologist on this panel to even explain.
I get it. I can understand what you're saying. In fact, there's a sociological aspect to it, because I'm one of the things that I worry about is how she's even going to be seen in school, how her colleagues are going to relate to her, what people say about her. She's in school, isn't she? Her pictures are everywhere, her videos are everywhere. And I don't know how her colleagues, the teachers, the school environment is going to relate to her after this. What are people going to say anytime they see her? So that's something that's a sociological aspect to this. But Honorable, let me come back to you. You say you don't see any friction or clash between what has happened with the loss of the country. Loss of the country.
I am somebody.
You don't see any conflict.
I support every attempt, every advocacy towards reforming some of our culture and tradition.
Right.
But you can't generalize everything, every aspect of our culture. Let me say this. All this noise, why is it happening? Because she's a girl. Because she's a girl. Come to my constituency.
Even if it's a boy.
See boys who are also set apart in the same way.
Yes.
To serve.
Okay.
Shrines. I'm telling you, I have a boy in my constituency, 6 years. He started doing his work as a priest.
Okay.
6 years.
Okay.
Recently, he even went viral on social media. People saying,
yeah.
That is how. For example, my own cousin, the Clan Wulomo.
Right.
If you go to Accra.
Right.
No more the Clan Wulomo. Right. He was set apart at the age of 8 when he was in school. You understand? This particular girl, I don't know whether you've even gone behind Moro. I know you normally do these things. To even listen to how all these things started.
Right.
The parents were having a problem with having a child.
Right.
They had a child after so many. For 2 years, the mother went beyond the period of the 9 months. She wasn't still coming.
Yeah.
Rites were performed. She came.
Okay.
For 2 years, she wasn't working.
Okay.
You understand?
Right.
For 2 years, she wasn't working. Rites were performed. So the parents, right from there, saw that this is a different.
She's a special child.
Special child.
Is that the reason I've heard one of the traditional leaders say that she's actually an old woman who's reincarnated?
That is what I believe, yes. That's why right from her infancy, she was set apart because of the way and manner, her delivery, and her, let me say, growth started. So she was set apart. at the same time she was with this one boy in my constituency, he was born already with the hair dread.
Really?
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
You mean he was born with dreadlocks?
Yes. Yes.
Do you have a picture of him?
Oh, no, I didn't know we were going to discuss that area. I will have said it. But if you want tomorrow, you can bring your cameras. I will set you. I will let you.
He was born with dreadlocks?
Yes.
You don't consider these kids as ordinary kids? You consider them as special kids?
Yes.
I see.
Yes. So, from day one, he was set apart. He was worshipped. He was bathed. He was cooked for. He was served. He was given all the things that somebody who is given, who is revered, was given. Today he's 8. He walks. Since his infancy, he has never worn any slippers before. You understand? He's never combed the hair.
Oh, like the AMA PRO, I've forgotten the former AMA.
No more belief.
I've forgotten his name.
I forgot his
No
name.
more Blafo.
Oh, Blafo.
Yeah.
The same.
He's never wore.
He told you. He told you. He was as if I said.
Yes.
No more Blafo also got into it around 6 years.
Okay.
Yes. Around 6 years.
Okay.
So they are different people.
But would you agree, Honorable, that this one was marked with pomp and pageantry?
I agree. That's why I made that this in local.
Yes.
These things happen every day in our traditional areas.
Okay.
My brother, where he comes from,
yes.
Ashanti, where he comes from, it happens.
Okay.
But because of the way manner this one was done,
it was loud.
It was too loud,
too
colorful.
Yeah.
Because these things are done within the particular area without pomp and pageantry.
That's it. So nobody heard about it.
Yeah, because they are set aside, and people even want. But the reason why this one is sometimes what they do, the reason why they do this is so that as an ordinary human being, ordinary man, you will not attempt to go near her.
Okay.
Because you then will know publicly that this girl has been set apart for the gods.
Okay.
Because it is a belief of our people that if you touch her, the consequences for you will be there.
I agree. Let me do this.
Even with her, let me end with it.
Yes.
Even with her, my brother saying, there is no way you can abridge the process.
Okay.
Because as soon as you breach that process, there's a consequences that she will suffer, which will be even worse, detrimental to her own self.
Interesting.
And it's there. As soon as the tradition is started, you cannot truncate it.
Wow. Oh no, I beg you, let me do this. I'm told Kofi Kapito wants to make a quick input. Mr. Kofi Kapito, where do you stand on this? What do you make? Oh, we have to take a break? All right, so let's quickly take a break. It's just 30 seconds or so, and then Mr. Kofi Kapito has a quick intervention to make as far as this topic is concerned. We'll be right back.
Hello, food lovers. Join me every week as we embark on a flavor-filled adventure with special guests from different African countries.
Today, I'm bringing the taste of Egypt to your kitchen.
Without the garlic, we cannot.
No. Nobody can eat this one.
I'm Victor. I'm eating this alone.
Hello. Prepare your taste buds. I'm taking you to Guinea. I brought you fur de manioc.
Fur de manioc. Oui, allez laver les mains.
The law is pertinent to every aspect of our lives, and so lawyers must not be the backup plan for the rainy day only.
Nothing received from a client should be put in a lawyer's personal account until such time that the money has actually been earned.
It is very dangerous to perpetuate the theory that it is narcotics that leads to crime increase.
The relevance of the law cuts across our business, social, and family transactions. Doubt this?
You can't borrow from somebody who's your client. That would lead to a conflict situation. And that's something that as a lawyer you must jealously guard when you are representing a client.
You have to register your Mohammedan marriage within 7 days?
Within a week of the celebration of the marriage.
So if you don't register it, it's not a valid marriage. Journey with our Law Express panel every week as we confirm the place of the law in our everyday transactions.
Under etiquette rules, a lawyer can terminate for non-payment of fees. So basically, if you don't pay your fees, a lawyer has a right to terminate your engagement.
All right, welcome back. Well, we've been having some conversations off air, but you don't want to hear it. It's a very interesting one. But anyway, just in case you just joined us, this is a Good Afternoon Ghana in a plush different studio. And we are talking about the controversy surrounding the marriage, spiritual or customary marriage between a 12-year-old and a 63-year-old man. And
no,
that,
not the man.
okay, a 63-year-old priest.
Not the priest.
Okay.
The
So
marriage is between the girl and the shrine.
and the deity.
Yes.
All right, and the deity, or the shrine, or the stool.
topic on that
And
is 63-year-old man.
Yes. Well, that's the topic actually, but the correction is also important. But whilst at it, Mr. Kofi Kapito actually said he wants to make an input, so we've actually invited him to join us. So, Kofi Kapito, please do us the honors. And unfortunately, our time is up, but you're a big man. We can't say we won't allow you to talk. So please give us just your brief thoughts on this matter, sir.
Moro, good afternoon. Good afternoon,
sir.
My old friend Neil and the rest of the panel. Moro, do you know man make laws?
True.
Yeah. So who made those laws?
We did.
Even Christianity. Yeah, thank you. So somebody made it. You see, and my mother was married off like that.
Hey.
Okay. My mother had 13 kids. I'm number 12. I'm in Arizona right now. I married my younger sister on Saturday. She's number 13.
Right.
Okay. The question is it something that is divine, or is a man that is trying to impose something that has been a practice throughout the years? Even the Bible, somewhere along the line, it was written by, quote unquote, men of God. Right? Nobody told us that the Bible was written by God. The Bible was written by human beings. I'm not against certain practice and certain norms that maybe will keep a child in place. I'm an Ashanti. They have something called bragor.
Thank you.
Bragor is like what the Krobo people do. Depot. That one, when we do bragor, that means the girl has reached a stage in her life. But she should be advised that if she's not careful and she sleeps with a man, she'll become pregnant.
Hey. Yes.
That is, those practices are checks and balances.
Yes.
To hold a girl in place. It's like FGM. Who introduced FGM? And who does FGM? You know FGM is practiced by women in the countries that they do it. It's not even men who take that advantage. And it is a man whose own thing is, I want to deprive a girl or a woman a satisfaction that she will be mine and mine only. Because she will not have the need or the edge to go and sleep with another person. Okay.
Wow.
It is good. Something. But as civilization or human beings, we are dynamic. We change with times. People get more enlightened. People see that, oh, those things are not maybe what they are supposed to be anymore. This thing is not just in Ghana. Even in America, the Amish people of Pennsylvania, do you know they do things like that?
They do?
That they marry the girls at the... Yeah. In America. Amish people.
Wow.
Are you getting my point?
I get it.
I'm saying is, something do marrying their wives' sisters. in America.
In America now, there are
Yes.
some people are practicing polygamy in America.
That's serious.
That a community where, look, even the Mormons. Do you know how the Mormons marry multiple wives in America? The Mormons. Okay, yes, we are custom. We have our traditions. We have our practices. To me, at any given time, that we as people, we see that.
But he usually would attend to our calls anytime we call him. And also Joseph Wemakor. He is with the HRRG. He's a CEO and also winner of the 5th UN Global Entrepreneurship Awards 2023. My name is Aldo. Thanks for watching. Let me just do this quickly. Kojo Chumbwaf has actually sent us a message. I have to read it. He says, "More, the problem I have with this matter is a 12-year-old girl being straitjacketed into a future marriage with a man over 5 times her age. Doesn't she have a right to grow up and make a decision about life and love?" Another thing about this is that there is no way of knowing that anyone is going to till she's of age. What shows that as soon as she can have menstrual cycle, the Wolomo is not going to impregnate her in the name of the deity. Now here's the thing, Kojo, she's not being married to the man. She's actually being married to the deity or the shrine or the stew. So that's the extent she would have to make. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.